And so that really gets everything going. And then me and Robert were just excited about our project, so we have other friends, so we're just mentioning it to them. Eli Roth, who did Hostel, Edgar Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead, Rob Zombie. We would just bring it up, and then they were like, wow, that sounds amazing. I'd like to do one of those, you know. And we're actually dealing with guys who are actually as savvy about this stuff as we are. So like just as an example, Edgar Wright does one. Now, his is like a British horror film from the 70s, but it's the American trailer, which means they never let any of the actors talk, because in America, they didn't want anyone to know that it was a British movie until you're already in the theater.
It's too late.
It's too late.
We got the money.
We got the money.
Let them know. Tell me about your film. Tell me about Death Row. Right.
Well, the thing about it was, Robert had come up with his idea of maybe sometime around the time of Faculty, and maybe wrote 30 pages on it. So as soon as we came up with the idea of doing Grindhouse, and we decided, well, we should definitely work in the horror genre. That would be really cool. A good way to start this off. That, he already kind of knew what he wanted to do, and I love the idea of doing a zombie movie, or infected people.
Let's clarify.
We try not to use the Z word.
Within the genre.
Yeah, it's a subgenre inside of the Z genre. I had actually just got through rewatching all the slasher films, because it's kind of what I do. I'm like, it's like I'm going for my professorship in cinema. The day I die, I've graduated. All right.
That's one of your great lines. By the way.
Thank you.
You will be learning until the moment you breathe your last breath.
That's it. And part of the way of doing that is picking a director, picking an actor, picking a genre, and just kind of reworking, looking at them all again, writing notes, maybe for a future book or something, and putting it away and starting on something else. Anyway, I just finished doing the slasher thing. And so I go, I want to do a slasher film. But then it hit me that the things that I like about the slasher films is, structurally anyway, they're exactly the same. And that's actually what's kind of good about them, is you can look at them as one big giant group. And I go, well, that's a little too self-reflective, all right? The movie's got to have its own pulse, its own heartbeat. It's my movie. So I decided to try to do with slasher films what I did with heist films in Reservoir Dogs, which is my own crazy cockamamie version of it. And then I remembered something I'd heard a long, long time ago. That's, I'm a writer. You hear stuff, it's in a locked room until the room gets opened, all right? And this is 10 years ago. Yeah. I used to have this indestructible feeling about myself, all right, especially before I'd ever done anything before, because I figured, look, God put me here to be a filmmaker. He gave me this stuff. He's not going to take me out of here before I've done something with this stuff.
A film he likes.
Yeah.
Or she likes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I never worried about dying in a car crash. I never worried about dying in a plane crash. I'm from Los Angeles, earthquakes, poosha, who cares? So yeah, I'm here. I've got a mission. I'm here to do something. Well, after Pulp Fiction, I thought, you know what? Maybe I did it. Maybe I'm not so indestructible. And dramatically speaking, maybe taking me out right now is a good idea. So all of a sudden, I got a Volvo.
A Volvo?
A Volvo, because I wanted a safe car. Well, I remember talking to somebody about that, worked in movies, and they said, well, you know what you can do? I go, what? You can buy any car you want, and you give it to a stunt team, give them $10,000, and they'll make it death-proof. Well, that just always stayed in my mind. I always thought that was an interesting concept. So then when I was thinking about a story, I'm like, well, what about a guy? He's a killer. He's like the boogeyman, except he's human. He's not a supernatural figure. He's maybe a demented stuntman, and maybe he has a death-proof car.
Maybe he's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, maybe he's Kurt Russell. And the whole idea was, there is this whole sexual thing with some people about car crashes. They've worked into a sexual thing, and I go, well, what if he had a death-proof car that he could get into any crash he wanted, all right? And it would be this sexual rapist-like experience, but he's going to survive the crash because of his car. And then it was like, well, that's it. That's my slasher film, except he's got a car instead. And that's my sexual metaphor. It's everything. And I go, wow, I've never seen that movie before. And the thing that was exciting about coming up with it, because actually I would have come up with this if Robert hadn't inspired me to try to come up with something, was it's the first time since Reservoir Dogs that I came up with an idea on the spot, and then just sat down and wrote it. You know, even like one of the, the John Travolta, Uma Thurman story in Pulp Fiction had been in my mind for a long time.
Right.
Kill Bill had been in my mind for, even Jackie Brown I'd read years before and thought about making a movie of it then. So this was the first time that I came up with a good idea and just sat down and faced the blank page, and 4 months later it was finished.
Right. Sin City.
Sin City.
When's the next one?
I'd probably start shooting in June, so...
How many will there be?
Might do 2, and then do maybe a series. We can then put on
television series.
Yeah. So we can then put on DVD.
It did very well, didn't it?
Did really well. Yeah. And I love it a lot.
How do you explain it? I mean,
how to explain the success of it?
Success, yeah.
You know, it's one of those
filmmaking, but what's the thing that brings them into the theater?
No, when I had the idea to do it, I'd been collecting that comic for a while. I looked at it, and I'd been a fan of it for 10 years, and I thought, I know how to do this now with the effects that I can do at my studio. I don't know if audiences are ready for it. It might be a little weird. It's black and white, it's anthology, it's voiceover. It's all the things you're not supposed to do in a movie. But I really feel like I want to make it. People might not discover it till DVD. But people got it from the first trailer. People just wanted to see something new. And I think that was the idea we had with this as well. Is that
Have you seen 300?
I haven't seen 300 yet, only because I've been so busy. But I've been telling Frank, I will go see 300. But that was a product of something like Sin City. I mean, those kind of movies are a product of the risk we took on Sin City, and they pay off. And I think it creates a whole other way of telling a story visually.
Right. What's next for you?
Well, it'll probably be, I can't imagine it won't be, it'll be this Dirty Dozen style World War II thing that I've been talking about for a long time.
You've been thinking about that for a long time.
Yeah, I've been writing on it for a long time. And
what's the title?
Inglourious Basterds.
Right.
And the only reason I hadn't done it yet is because it just expanded into such a thing that it literally was I was writing a novel, all right? Well, now I can't reveal it, but now I know how to do a novel, all right? And I think you can do that now, all right, in cinema or even on television. So actually, in a weird way, the public's general interest in entertainment and the way it's done has caught up with what I always wanted to do with it. Because at some point I almost abandoned it and like, I'll just have to turn it into a book. Yeah. But now, I mean, I could do it as a miniseries, I could do it as anything.
Beyond Inglourious, is there some other great idea that's banging around there that you've been wanting to do, but the time is not quite right?
You know, oh, that's a good way you threw a little twist right at the end there that changed my answer. Let me give you two quick answers on that. One, Inglourious Basterds is the next big mountain I need to climb before I can see the other mountains. I need to be who I'm going to be having done that, and then I'll have other horizons to cross. Having said that, I can't, if there's one genre I think is the most disreputable genre out there and I never want to have anything to do with it, it's the biopic. I can't stand the biopics.
Never seen one you like?
Not really, all right? They're all just showcases for actors to win awards, all right? And mostly because they want to do the story from beginning to end.
Right. So,
but I would one of these days love to do the John Brown story. Yeah, he's one of my biggest heroes of all time. And I'd actually like to play John Brown because I think I even kind of look like him a little bit. But I'm actually thinking that maybe that might even be the last movie I ever make. I'll be, I'll be 59, 60, I'll look the right age, I'll be the right age. And so, but that's like an Unforgiven thing. That's
now, why is he such a hero for you?
Because he pretty much ended slavery all by himself and was, and like all great patriots was tried for treason. And I mean, he's the only white man who has ever earned a spot on Black History calendars. All right, and like it's just they're looking you in the eye. Nobody saw slavery the way he saw it. And just if we have to start killing people to stop this, then they're gonna know what time it is. And I love him. He's my favorite American of all time.
Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thank
Great
you,
to
Robert.
be here.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Grindhouse in theaters, April 6th. See you next time.